Yeah. So yesterday we have seen how to create a repository, how to clone a repository, how to get the changes from local to remote, and even how to import a repository from other source control. So let's say I have some my source control, I mean I have my source code in Azure repos. If I wanted to get it from GitHub, so we have seen how to import the source code. And there is another way to create a repository. So if I create another repository, sample repo 4, okay, nothing adding, create. So the first one is downloading into local and adding your code, then again pushing back into remote repository, nothing but Azure repos. The second one is the code is already there in your local, you are just adding this remote, okay, you are just adding this remote and then pushing back into Azure repos. The third one is importing a existing repository. That repository can be in GitHub, and there is another one, guys, Bitbucket. Okay. At present, these are the famous source code management tools in IT industry. Either Azure repos or GitHub or Bitbucket. Okay. So here I have my code. This is my code, and I can import this to Azure repos as well. How can I do the same? So if I go for import repository, it will ask me the URL. The URL will be available here. Here if you go, see this is the URL. So you need to take this URL. So if you view it here, you can download you can import the repository from Bitbucket to Azure repos. I will tell you about Bitbucket and GitHub as well in our next sessions. So, and the final way. So what is the final way? We have these three ways, and what is the final way? The final way is creating a repository. Okay, creating a repository within Azure repos itself. Creating a repository within Azure repos itself. I mean, initializing a repository. It's not like creating a repository. We already created a repository. It's called sample repo 4. But that sample repo 4 has no files, nothing. So what we want to do, we want to initialize or we want to add some files here itself. I don't have my code anywhere. I want to start it from here itself. So in that case, what happens? So first it will give you an option to add readme file. See here, this button is enabled. If I disable this option, see this button got disabled. So initializing means nothing but you are adding a file. Now let me show you the same difference. Just a second, guys. Yeah, sorry. So if you remember, yesterday also we initialized some repository in some folder. Let me go here. Yeah. So here I have two repositories. Okay, if I create another repository, let's take a new folder. Repo because we have four already there. Right now, if I go to this folder, okay, if I go to this folder, I'm into this folder. Let me clear. So if I go for git status, so it says this is not a git repository. You need to initialize the repository. So when I initialize the default folder, what it is giving for me, that is nothing but .git folder. See, I got .git folder. So whenever you initialize a repository, by default, it will give you .git folder. In the same way, when you initialize something in Azure repos, when you initialize something in the Azure repos, by default, it will give you readme file. That's why if I disable this readme file, the initialize button also disabled. So if I enable, I am getting this initialize option. So I am initializing that repo created here itself. It's not like that I got it from local, I got from somewhere, nothing. A repo created here itself. So here I initialized this repository. So in local repos, what I'm doing, I'm coming here and I'm creating some files. Okay, and I'm creating some files. Let's say new file. This is a sample file. This is sample file. Nothing to add, just make it simple. This is a sample file. So now I have the file local, but here I initiated a repository. I don't want to push them. I don't want to pull them. I don't want to do anything. How can I bring those files into this repository? We have an option called upload files. We have an option called upload files. So when you don't want to pull, push or anything, and you have some files in your local, then you can upload those files into your Azure Repos repository. That's also there is an option. So if you select upload files, it will ask you where is your file. Where is your file? It's in here. Azure DevOps data sample repo file, new file, right? Open. Open. So this is going to sit in main branch. Why? Because we have only one branch here. There are no other branches. That's why it's going to be sit in main branch. Commit. So now I have two files. So the addition of this file is considered as a commit. Okay. Now I forgot to commit the change here. Edit. commit with the message new file in this repo. Okay. Here and with log. So here I wanted to show you something. Yeah. So observe this. Actually, the file added in my local repository, the commit ID starts with FE3820. But I uploaded this file to the repository and I committed the change. There the commit ID looks different. It starts with 60BC78. So these two activities are considered as two different things. These two activities are considered as two because you are not interlinked this local repository to this remote repository. There is no remote, there is no origin, no pull, no push operations. Whatever you are doing in your local. And instead of pulling or pushing, you are uploading those files. So when you are uploading, that upload activity will be considered as a new activity. Okay, that upload activity will be considered as a new activity. So this is how you can upload files. And if you can create a new file from here itself. Here if you see, I'm not doing anything local, guys. Leave about this local. I'm doing everything here itself. Here I can create a new file itself. Name it as sample1.txt. It got renamed. I mean, the file created. This file was created in repos itself. So I did some change, then commit. So the commit message. If you remember, whenever we are committing, we give commit message, right? The same way, here also, I'm giving a commit message. And I'm committing this to main branch and commit. Okay. So this is how you initialize repository on the Azure repos itself and add files or create files or upload files. Add files or create files or upload files. So we have multiple repositories. Yesterday we have done this repository and we have seen how these files exist here. What is this commits? Then what are all the pushes who happened on this branch? I mean on this repo, and how many branches this repo has. Then what about these tags and pull requests? What about these tags and pull requests? Now we will go to the repository in local. ED. So now I am into this repository. Now I am into this repository. I go for git status. So nothing to commit, everything is clear. Okay, nothing to commit, everything is clear. Now let me go for logs. I just want to check something. So here I have two logs. Okay, two logs, I mean two commits, which means two files created. And they are created yesterday. So today 21st September and they are created yesterday. So what I do, I will create a tag, git tag, and the tag name is first tag. Don't want to confuse anything. I will create a tag, git tag, first tag. Done. So tag created, git tag, first tag, tag created. Here. Verify the log now, git log. So you can see, just test. Now I will again go for git log. You can see, so this latest commit, it was created on master and it has a tag called first tag. It was created on master and it got a tag called first tag. So what is this first tag? Why I created this tag? Now what happens? Let me do some change. Okay. How many files are there in this? I go back to sample one. Okay. File one, I think if I check out, let me check the branches. How many branches are there? Okay. To the other branch. New branch. Okay, it has file 1, file 2, and the master has file 1, file 3. Now, again, I will check out to master only. I will create an extra file here. Let's say pad file 4.txt. Okay. Was created after the tag. Okay, this was created after the tag. Save, close. For git status, obviously. So this is in untracked mode. So if I add it, file 4.txt. So if I go for git, it's stacked now. So that means this is working directory and this is staging directory. Okay, this is working directory. So wherever you are working, those all will be in red color. They are not tracked. So once you move them to staging directory, they will be in green color. So now I will, yes, I will view file after the tag. Okay, view file after the tag. Done. I will clear this. Again, I will go for git status. There will be nothing. Now I will go for git log. Yeah. So here if you see, I have 3 commits. Okay, I have 3 commits. 2 commits created yesterday. Okay, 2 commits created yesterday, and there is a new commit created today. So as an engineer, I don't want this extra commit. I don't want this extra commit. I want only these 2 commits. I want only these 2 commits. So how can I enter into these 2 commits? Why? Because if I create a separate branch now, okay, let's say how many branches we have? We have 2 branches. So from master, if I create a separate branch, let's say git branch, the branch name will be, make it second branch. So how many branches are there? 3 branches. So if I check out to second branch, if I verify the logs, see obviously I got 3 logs. I wanted to create a branch, but I wanted only these 2 commits, not this extra commit, not this extra commit. But obviously I'm getting that extra commit. I cannot avoid that extra commit because I'm creating a branch from master where master has 3 commits already. So in that scenarios, what happens? Let me go back to master. Here this screen. So in master, I have 3 commits. I want to create a branch with only 2 commits. Then what happens? You can check out to the tag, guys. You can check out to the tag. What is my tag name? Right? Tag name, yeah. First tag. See, now you see what's happening here. What's happening here? From master, I entered into tag. From master, I entered into tag. So here, if you see this command, you can understand what I'm trying to do. So if you want to create a new branch, if you want to create a new branch, to retain commits you create, you may do git to switch -c new branch name. git switch -c new branch name. So if I do something, git switch -c, I will name as, let's say, no need of quotes, tag branch. Okay, I will give this name as tag branch. See, so from this tag, okay, from this tag, I created a branch called tag branch. From this tag, I created a branch called tag branch. Now, how many commits you are expecting into this branch? How many commits you are expecting into this branch? Anybody? If you are following my lines. So here in master, I have 3 commits, but I wanted to create a branch with only 2 commits. But I wanted to create a branch with only 2 commits. For that reason, wherever I wanted to create a branch, I created a tag there, and now I entered into the tag. From the tag, I created a branch. From the tag, I created the branch. So now how many commits I can see in this branch? Obviously only 2. Obviously only 2. The third commit will not be there in the newly created branch. So that's why I'm not clearing this window. I will go for a log. See how many tags, how many commits I have? Only 2. So where is this third commit? It will not come because you created a tag here and you created a branch by using this tag. Same guys, tomorrow you are working in a large team or big team. There will be multiple people working in you. Okay, there will be multiple people working with you. Just a second, yeah. So there will be multiple people working with you. They might have multiple commits. They might have done multiple commits. So you don't want to get all the commits. You don't want to get all the commits. So what happens? You will go for the log. Okay, you will go for the log. So you might have created a tag at specific commit. You might have created a tag at specific commit. So from that commit only you are creating a branch. From that commit only you are creating a branch. So even though my master has 3 commits, I got a new branch with only 2 commits. So that is the purpose of tag. I think I already said the same line. Tag is something like pinpointing. Okay, I'm creating a tag here. So I want this tag should be there on this commit so that if I come of 1 week or 1 month, I will directly go to the commit. So I will see whatever happens before the commit, not after the commit. So whatever happened after the commit, you are not worried. So that is how tags are so much helpful to you. So if you want to enter into specific commit or if you want to get your code from a specific commit. Now I have created a tag local. If I even let's say now if I go for git checkout master, if I go for branch, four branches: master branch, new branch, second branch, and tag branch. Okay. Now even if I go for git tag also, I have tag as well. I have tag as well. But in the remote, okay, but in the remote, I have only master branch and new branch only. I don't have the second branch. I don't have this tag branch. And even I don't have this first tag also. If I go to tags, see there are no tags. There are no tags. So how can I push these tags? How can I push these tags and how can I push these branches? How can I push these branches? For that we have command git push -u origin all. So I am pushing all the changes. Okay, I am pushing all the changes. Oh, why should I push all the changes? Let me just a second. Okay, what happens for testing purpose only? Okay, sorry, for testing purpose only, I created the second branch. Just for testing purpose only, I created the second branch. Now I don't want this. I don't want this in the remote. Sorry, I don't want this in the remote, or I don't want this in the local as well. Both the places I don't want this. So how can you remove this branch? Why? Because branches are nothing but it's created by you only. If you don't require them, you can delete them. If you don't require them, you can delete them. So the command for removing the branches is git branch -d under the branch name. Okay, git branch -d under the branch name. Deleted. It was deleted. Now if I go for git branch, I will see only 3. So I will see only 3. Okay. Now I will push all these changes. So I will push all these changes. Git push -u origin all. I am pushing everything to remote. Trying to get all the changes. Yeah. Everything is done right. Yes. Now, so if I refresh this page, okay. So seems I got the branches master, new branch, tag branch, but the tags are not here. Even though I have a tag here, you see, even though I have a tag here, the tag was not kept. Okay. So now I need to push this tag. I have the commands collected here. To push tags, even I forgot the command, guys. Just a second. Yeah. So here it is. So to push tags to remote, git push remote name, tag name. Okay. So as I have created the tags local, when I wanted to push this, so it will be by like push remote name is origin and the tag name is first tag. So why I am giving tag name? Why? Because when this when this repo was used by multiple people, so those multiple developers or the multiple people might have created multiple tags. You don't want to push all the tags to the remote repository. So whatever is important, whatever you want to use in future, those tags can be pushed to the remote repository. For that reason, so we are giving especially the tag name. Git to push origin, my first tag. Yeah. So now this tag was pushed to remote repository. Here I have this repository has no tags it's saying, but if I refresh this window, now it got the first repository. I mean, sorry, first tag. This repository got first tag. Clear in tags, guys. So how you are creating tags in local and how we are pushing them. What is the purpose of tag? So when you created a tag, how can we create a branch from the tag? Here, see, from master, I checked out to the tag, and from the tagged changes, I created a separate branch. And from the tagged changes, I created a branch. So this is how you create tags and use them in future. And you can make branches from the tags. Those tags can be used in local, those tags can be issued to remote repository. Okay. Now what is this pull request? What is this pull request? Yeah. So now what is this pull request? Generally, this pull request should have named as push request. I don't know why they named it as pull request. So push request will be a proper name for this. Why? Because the major purpose of pull request is to merge changes between two repositories. So here I will show you what is merging first of all. So what is merging? So I'm clearing this window, guys. Here. Now how many branches I have? Git branch. So I have 3 branches. Okay, master branch has file 1, file 3, file 4. Okay, master branch has file 1, file 3, file 4. Now if I check out to new branch has only file 1, file 2. New branch has only file 1, file 2. Now in master, what is missing? Again, let me go back to master. So in master, file 2 is missing. Okay, in master, file 2 is missing. So if I wanted to bring the changes of new branch, okay, if I wanted to bring the changes of new branch, then what I need to do? I need to merge a new branch with master. I need to merge a new branch with master. Further, git to merge. What is that branch I wanted to merge? New branch. Okay, git to merge new branch. See, now it is merging. Okay, now it is merging. And when it is merging, it is asking you for a message. So why you are merging? What is the purpose of merging? So you can update this text. You can update this text. So this is called Vim editor, guys. This is called Vim editor. VIM. Generally, people will call VI editor also. VI editor. VI editor. So the purpose of this editor was to give some message. Okay, to give some message, you can enter here. But right now, observe this below line, the last line. Right now, it is not in insert mode. So if you type anything, I'm trying to type, guys. I'm trying to type. So set. So when I try to type, it won't enter. But here, first you need to press on I. First you need to press on I. If you want to enter data in VI editor, you need to press I. So while typing, by mistake, I pressed I. So it went to insert mode. It went to insert mode. If you observed earlier, the insert mode was not there. That is in different mode. Now it is insert mode. So here I can say merging branch, new branch with master. I should say master. A merging branch, new branch with master. Right? So my insert was done. Now I need to click escape, colon, okay, escape, colon, window quit. So I am in this window, right? I am in this window. For that reason, I am using W window. Q means quit. Window quit. Okay, enter. See, now this merge operation completed successfully. Now this merge operation completed successfully. Now if you observe, in master I am seeing all the files. File 1, 2, 3, 4. File 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have doubt, let's go for git log. You can see the differences. See the differences. Okay. So these are the first commit, second commit, third commit. Sorry, yeah. This is from new branch. This commit was from new branch. You remember in master we had only 3 commits. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Now the extra commit from new branch was added. The extra commit from new branch was added, and even this merge operation, whatever you did the merge operation, that merge operation also considered as an extra commit. That merge operation also considered as an merge operation. So why it is considered as a merge operation, I will let you in a minute. Okay. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 commits in master. 5 commits in master. If you observe, while merging, okay, while merging, nothing happened. There may be some wrong changes. There may be some issues, but nothing stopped the merging. Straight away the merging happened. Even though the code is wrong, even though the user is not allowed, everything is went good. But then what is the purpose of pull request? Now I will tell you. So when it comes to with pull request and when it is important to raise pull request. So master is something like major branch, guys. Master is something like major branch. So if you lost master branch, that is something like you lost the entire code. Okay. And just before I told you to delete, right? So if I try to delete, actually this is generic command. Sorry, couldn't stop it. Just a second. So right now I'm in master branch and I'm trying to delete the master branch itself. I'm trying to delete the master branch itself. It will throw me error. It will throw me error. It doesn't mean that, okay, master is important, that's why you are not able to delete. When you are already inside the branch, so checkout is nothing but you are inside the branch, right? So you might have observed when I check out to any branch, the files will change. Now if you want to give a try, let's try. You check out new branch. Checkout is nothing but I am entering in this branch. So when I enter this branch, I will see the changes limited to that branch only. So when I am in master, I am seeing 4 files. But the moment I enter into new branch, see I am seeing only 2 files. So checkout means nothing but going inside the branch. Okay, going inside the branch. So in that case, if you try to delete, okay, git branch -d new branch. Okay, you are inside the branch and you are trying to delete the same branch. It will not allow you. Why? Because you are checked out. You are checked out. That's the reason. When you wanted to delete a branch, okay, when you want to delete a branch, you need to, okay, you need to be in other branch. So it's always better to perform any action. It's always better to perform any action in master. So when you are in master, all other branches are like outer branches only. When you are in master, All other branches are like outer branches only. So you can perform any action. Now, in the master repository, so here if you have observed, it is saying some message when I check out to master. When I check out to master, here if you see, when I check out to new branch, your branch is up to date with origin. Okay, your branch is up to date with origin. But when I check out to master, it is saying your branch is ahead of master. I mean your branch is ahead of origin by 2 commits. Your branch is ahead of origin by 2 commits. So what does this mean? Here when I check out to new branch, it is saying your branch is up to date with origin. When I check out to master, it is saying your branch is ahead of origin by 2 commits. What does this mean? Now, if I go to the repository and go to the commits, see master branch. Okay, now if I go for git log. So in the master branch, this is local repository. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in remote, it's only 1, 2, 3. That's what it is showing here. So your local branch is ahead of origin by 2 commits. Yeah, we are seeing 2 commits extra here. We are seeing 2 commits extra here. That's why it is saying you are ahead of. Okay, you are ahead of 2 commits. You are ahead of 2 commits. Now what I can do? I can push these 2 changes. I can push these 2 changes to the remote. I can push these 2 changes to the remote. Only 2 commits. I think this is the extra commit and this is the extra commit. What I can do? I can simply git push. Okay, git push. I can only perform git push. Why? Because I want to send the changes of master only, not from all branches. If I perform only git push, the changes what are in my master branch, here you can see master to master. All the changes from my local master to, they went to remote master. Now I have 3 commits here. If I refresh this window, I got 5 commits. I got 5 commits. Even it says, so first there are 3 commits. You got extra commit from new branch. Okay, you got extra commit new branch. And after that, what you did? You merged all these changes. So this is the merge commit. This is the merge commit. And where you created the tag? You created the tag here. See, the tag is here. The tag is here. Okay. And there are no pull requests. And there are no pull requests. Now what we will do? To enable pull request. Okay, if you wanted to make people to raise a pull request, what I need to do? I need to go to branches. I need to go to branches. I need to enable a branch policy. I need to enable a branch policy. So don't get confused, guys. I might have directly went on to this. First, you need to go to branches. Branches. So this is your master branch. Here we have the ellipses. There you can see all these options. Here we have branch policy. So branch policy. I'm going to branch policies. Okay. So require. Let's just. Okay. So require minimum number of reviewers. Require minimum number of reviewers. Enable. Let me make it 1 only. I don't want 2. So require minimum number of reviewers. I'm enabling only 1 policy, guys. Remaining policies I will explain you later. I am enabling only 1 policy. So I enabled 1 policy. Now I am going back. Now I am going back. So go to repos. So file 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Now what happens? I am working on local. So I am working on local. Let me clear. So now check out to new branch. Okay, now I have only two files. Here I will create file 5. Okay, notepad file 5.txt. Yes, all created to check pull request all. Okay, file save. Okay. Then close. Now if I go for git status, oh sorry, spelling mistake. There is an untracked file. Let me add that file, then commit that file. Yeah, I thought to tell you. So we have seen the VI editor, right? So here in the commit command, I'm directing message. So if I forgot to pass that message and I directly pressed on git commit. So I entered git commit and I clicked on enter in the keyboard. Now also it will go to the VI editor only. So the purpose of VI editor was, if you wanted to pass on any message with the command, if you wanted to pass on any message or enter any message, so there you can enter into this VI editor. See, I told you, right? So now this is not in insert mode. This is not in insert mode, and it is saying the mode is now commit edit message mode. The mode is now commit edit message mode. So now if you wanted to enter a message, first you need to press I. See, click on I. Now it is insert mode. So new file to check pull request. Okay, this is new file to check pull request. Done. I am done with entering message. If you have more message, you can enter also. If you have more message, you can enter next lines also. So I am going with one line. So I am done with entering message. I told you escape. Escape means going into another mode. Colon WQ window quit. Okay. Escape colon WQ window quit. Enter. See, the commit happened now. Now the commit happened with this message. So this message was entered in VI editor, not in the command. This message was entered in VI editor, not in the command. Now if I go for git log, here I see extra commit, this extra commit. Now I am going back to master. Now I am going back to master. So in master, I see file 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to get that file 5 from new branch. I want to get that file 5 from new branch. How can I get that? Earlier we tried to git merge new branch. I believe this will throw error, or else I need to work on this again. So git merge new branch. So I think I did something wrong here. Maybe new branch, file, escape, colon, window, quit. Okay. Got the changes. So this policy was not enabled. Let me try something here. Horizon. So I did some changes in the master repository. So what I did the changes in the master repository, sorry, in the remote repository, I enabled a branch policy. If you remember, I enabled a branch policy. So those changes are not reflected in my local repository. Those changes are, yeah. No, they are reflected. Let me try now. They are reflected, and now in my local, I have file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in the remote, I have file 1, 2, 3, 4 only. I have file 1, 2, 3, 4 only. Now what I do, I will try to push this. So whatever file extra I have, I will try to push this. So when I try to push, so remote rejected. The remote rejected. Remote rejected because pushes to this branch are not permitted. You must use a pull request to update this branch. This is the purpose of pull request. So pushes to this branch are not permitted. You must use a pull request to update this branch. So in my local, I have 5 files, but in my remote, I have 4 files. Now it says you can't push them because it was enabled with pull request policy. It was enabled with pull request policy. So that's why now if I go, let me do one thing. If I go for git checkout, new branch, and here if I try to git push, here if I try to git push, it will allow. It will allow. See, it will allow. Why? Because on new branch, we have not enabled any policy. On new branch, here also we have new branch, right? On new branch, we have not allowed any new policy. But on master branch, we have enabled a policy. That's why the pushes are not allowed. But in the new branch, the pushes are allowed. Now, if you see, in the local, I have file 5, but in the master, I don't have file 5. Now, what I can do, I can go for a pull request. So here, pull request, new pull request. So what you wanted to do? You wanted to merge new branch with master branch. You wanted to merge a new branch with the master branch. So how many changes are there extra? There is a one extra file and there is a one extra commit. So when I compare with the new branch with master branch, okay, when I compare this new branch with the master branch, I found one extra file, one extra commit. So it's like new file to check pull request. This is our commit message from this commit, guys. See, new file to check pull request. So if you don't want to give any message, it will take from the commit message only, or else you can give a separate message. Okay. So now if I try to create, it is created. No merge conflicts. No merge conflicts. What it says, at least one reviewer must approve. This is the policy we enabled, right? At least one reviewer must approve. You remember, that is the policy we enabled. I go back to the branch policies. Here it says requires a minimum number of reviewers. What is the minimum number? One reviewer. Here I have one reviewer. So here there are no reviewers added. We have no reviewers. Now what I will do? I will add reviewer. Let's add my name itself. I will go with this. Okay. I added reviewer. Now it says he should approve first. He should approve first. If I'm not wrong, I might have got a mail. Yeah. So I got a mail. See here I got a mail from Azure DevOps. PR means pull request. PR means pull request. PR means pull request. Now I need to approve this. Now I need to approve this. To approve this, I need to log in. To approve this, I need to log in. So this is a separate account. This is a separate account. So what I will do, I will copy this link. I will open an incognito window. I will open an incognito window. Why? Because if I log in the same window, it will take my other credentials. Open that. Different account. It's like email.com. This one. So here, if you see other window. So as a owner, I am the administrator, so I can approve, but I don't want to approve this. I already added other user to approve. See, he got approve option. So I will approve this. I will approve this. Approved. One reviewer approved. Now this pull request got all the policies done. So one reviewer approved, no merge conflicts. One reviewer approved, no merge conflicts. Now what I can do, I can go for complete. I can go for complete. I can go for complete. So leave about all these. Nothing to do. Complete merge. See here you can see merging pull request. So merging pull request. Yeah. So merge completed. Merge completed. Now if I go to master branch, I will see the extra file. So now I am seeing the extra file. When I try to push from local, it not allowed me. But when I did it through pull request, it allowed me. Why? Because I enabled the policy. I enabled the policy. When there is a policy enabled, you cannot push them directly. When there is a policy enabled, you cannot push them directly. And if you want to merge those changes, you need to submit a pull request. If you want to merge those changes, you need to submit a pull request. So that is the purpose of tags and pull request. So tags means if you are coming or if you are in a leave and you want to get to specific commit, so you can create like this. So on this commit, I created a tag. So after 1 week or 1 month also, I can enter directly into this commit. I can enter directly into this commit. And then coming to pull requests. So pull request means if I wanted to merge some changes to the master. So when the master is enabled with branch policies, that is not possible. So when it is enabled with branch policies, it should go through pull request only. That's why we raised a pull request and we got the required approvals and then we are able to merge those changes. Now in files, we see all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it matches with local. So local also it has file 5, remote also it has file 5. So this is how we use tags and pull requests. So these two are tricky concepts. So remaining all are easy. Files, commits, pushes, branches are easy, but these two are tricky concepts. That's why I thought of giving separate session on these two only. Okay. Tomorrow we will see remaining options. There are many things within the branches itself. Those are not related to local. Okay. Those are not related to local. They all are like from here only. How things happens here. What are things we can control from the remote itself. Okay. We will see that tomorrow.